In the arena of dreams, where heroes are made, Xero Anthony Caesar Tonga lead the crusade. With Bobby beside, the energy's high. Uncut's the platform where legends never die. Uncut, where the stories unfold. Wrestling for you, the battles are bold. From the highs to the lows, every move, every show. Tune in, feel the thrill, let the adrenaline flow. So join us each week for the action and fun. Uncut with Bobby, the journey's begun. Wrestling for you, it's more than a game. It's a legacy, it's glory, it's the ultimate fame.
Hello, yes, and welcome to our, as you can see, festive-looking show for this week. Bobby's got his thing on here now. It's going to be slightly different because, of course, we're sort of in the lull time, and this is obviously going out just before Christmas and that. And as well, there's been a few medical things as well to reason why there's things like that. So. This show is going to be a very short show, this one is. So we're going to literally just be covering the few essential bits this week. So I do apologise for anyone who does like a longer show, but this one will be quite short. Well, let's get into it. First of all, then, we need to talk about what happened last Saturday night, which is Saturday night's main event. Before we do get into that, did you see the viewing figures for it?
I think, what was it, 2.3?
2.3 million for it. Now that's the biggest, that's the highest amount WWE's had for quite a while for a WWE show.
And the 2008 show or 2009, I can't remember, did 2.4.
So it's literally just coming up to those numbers now. So for anyone moaning saying, "Oh yeah, they took the piss with the breaks and stuff like that," or like we don't really want this show to come back again, when they're getting 2.3 million for a show, on NBC and stuff like that.
And I mean, they're only doing it 4 times a year too, so it's like, whatever.
So I mean, and as we've seen, it's nothing really like. It's not. Everyone thought it was going to be like a pay-per-view, but obviously it's not. It's a special. So all these people, like I see online, everyone was like, "Oh my god, The Rock's showing up! Oh my god, this is happening! Oh my god, this is happening!" It's like, no, it's not. It's literally just a special show. It's just something that NBC wanted in that, and they obviously wanted it to be like. That really, it's like it's not done that way, is it? Really?
I could have told you no titles are changing hands because the next 2 episodes, the next episode of Raw and SmackDown are taped.
Yeah. So well, obviously the Raw was live obviously after that event, and then taped next week's one. But obviously, SmackDown.
That's what I meant. But SmackDown tonight is taped.
Well, they were quite clever in it as well. It's basically. From the results for this week's SmackDown is anyone who was on Saturday Night Main Event, they never had at the tapings, basically. So they didn't have you didn't have Cody, you didn't have KO, you didn't have obviously Chelsea and stuff like that, or Mia. You didn't have any of them basically on this week's show. So they've done that quite clever. Obviously, we might still see them in backstage segments, but as in ring, no. Because then obviously the backstage segments they can pre-film, and they could easily have pre-filmed them after Raw, for example. And just sort of just edited it in so it makes it look like it's on SmackDown, but it's it will make sense. It'll make sense. So let's get into this. So the event then on Saturday started off with it was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, in which Drew McIntyre defeated Sami. That was shocking. Well, we all thought that one. Have you got our thingies that we guessed?
I don't have the results, no. But I don't. Well, did you know there was a dark match?
No.
According to Wikipedia, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated A-Town Down Under.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not using Wikipedia. I'm using a different website, one called wrestlingforyou.co.uk. One of the best wrestling websites out there. Check it out. A small blog there,
Wikipedia is better. I didn't know about this. I had just opened up the page and saw it. I was like, oh, okay.
All right, okay. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't know about that either. But I'm
trying to remember who we both picked. I don't think.
I can't remember. I just can't remember myself.
I'll have to. I didn't think to go down and look for it, but
No, it's fine. If we haven't got it, we haven't got it. Obviously, this week's show is going to be slightly shorter, but is it should just cover
I'll tell
this.
you later what happens.
Yeah, we can easily sort that one out. Yeah,
if I go down
yes.
there and find it.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that's So Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn. No surprises there. We then had Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Obviously, as expected, Liv Morgan successfully defeated Io Sky.
Yeah.
For that one, yeah, like what Bobby said, no titles were changing hands at all.
Yeah.
So
and they crowned the first United States Women's Champ, so that was like, this is the moment, you know.
Yeah, so again, then obviously on that subject, we then move on then to Gunther versus Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The result there was obviously Gunther retains his World Heavyweight Championship. Again, expected for that one. Then we then have the co-main event, which was for the women's. Sorry.
So things are about to get really interesting for Gunther in this world title, I think. But
we'll get into that one in a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then the Women's United States Championship Tournament Finals, which was Chelsea Green versus Michin. And obviously, we now have a new Women's United States Champion. That is Chelsea Green. She obviously won that title, so that was I reckon she's going to make it quite entertaining. She's going to make that. Sure. Yeah, she's going to make this reign quite entertaining for her. Yeah, I mean, after everything she's done and everything like that, and the how can I put it? Sort of like the stupidity stints that she's been put through. It's kind of like she kind of deserves it, like that dumpster match and everything. That was obviously something that.
And was it want to do and stuff? Was it the Rumble this year?
Yeah,
probably. Maybe it was last year she came back and got eliminated real quick. This year, I think it was her, Piper, and maybe Nia.
Yeah.
Remember when she was in the corner and Piper ran into her, then Nia ran into her, then Piper ran into her, and they just kept going back and forth, and Chelsea's like, yeah. So no, it was deserving. I was all for it. She deserved it, quite frankly.
Yeah, definitely. And then we then have Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship, which was the Winged Eagle as expected for this event, in which Cody Rhodes successfully defeated Kevin Owens. Now, after the match, there was an altercation which went on where Kevin took out Cody. This is obviously just leading into just giving basically Cody some time off, so then he'll return next year for that January 6th Raw.
That's all. I was like, it's Raw on Netflix. That's when he's back.
Yeah, that's when he'll be back. Yeah, this is why they've done it. See, so to be able to, the reason why they've done it, see, is I truly believe is that it's to write Cody out from this week's show, because then obviously then they would be expecting Cody to show up this Friday, but obviously where it's obviously tapes and stuff, Yeah,
and then he can have a little time off.
Yeah. So he's then got a time off then over Christmas and everything like that. So then what you can do, obviously everyone gets a time off over Christmas, but what they're going to do now is like, he's off now, and then he'll come back on that. I reckon how they're going to do it is he'll come back as like a surprise return on that January 6th Raw, and then that's then where The Rock will come out and basically confront him and be like, like I'm challenging you for WrestleMania or whatever it be, or something like that. Basically, that's how it's
not working Mania.
Well, according to people, but he is working Mania. Everyone knows this. Sorry if you do believe that report, but Rock is working WrestleMania. So that was the event. And there was another bit as well. Is obviously we then had a face-off between Kevin Owens and Triple H, in which Triple H actually pushed Kevin Owens and that. So. But that's the most physicality you're going to get there. But I do have to say to anyone out there, because I've seen a couple of people like, oh my God, is Triple H coming back to wrestle? No. Triple H can never wrestle again.
I wish, but no.
Yeah. I mean, the only other way which you can do it is basically... Actually, the way which I could see this is because there was always planned to be a power struggle storyline. Now, if you notice, and this is something which I can see tying into it, is if you notice beforehand, when Kevin was cutting all those promos on Cody... all the ones that he was cutting online, he kept tagging The Rock in it. Now, there's always been rumors that The Rock's coming in to do a power struggle storyline along with Cody. So Cody can have basically the authority on his side. So say, so obviously we say the authority, but obviously he can then have like the backing of Triple H, Nick Aldis, and Adam Pearce or whatever, and that on his side. And then obviously then you've then got The Rock and the Bloodline on the other side. So, incorporate Kevin into that and have Kevin basically like with, with The Rock and everything like that, and that would make a perfect one. And obviously that's the start of this power struggle storyline, because you can imagine it on January 6th as well, because they've already started it as well, if you think about it, where you've had The Rock and Triple H basically have that sort of like altercation backstage.
Yeah.
Imagine The Rock coming out and cutting Triple H off on January 6th, and that, and basically like that could be pretty big. Obviously, we know Triple H won't be able to get physical, but The Rock coming back and basically like using his TKO powers to override Triple H, that could be really, that could be really good for it. So
there's so many matches Triple H could have when it's like,
yeah, but obviously
we're never. I know it's like it's like these matches would be like him and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Him and The Rock, even.
That would be good. That would be good. If nowadays Triple H versus The Rock and that, in like a power struggle storyline, that could be good. But the way which I can see it as well is because Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce are both saying they're training to get back into the ring. Now, obviously, so you can basically use them as the GMs facing The Rock or whatever, or you can then have The Rock sending people, say like Solo or Roman or something like that, basically to face off against one of those GMs. You've got to think Nick Aldis versus Roman, never been done before. That could be one hell of a match.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know.
I know it's not as good as Triple H and stuff, but
I know. It's like you think like Triple H and Rock, and it's like,
yeah. So, but so that's that one there. What did you want to bring up, obviously, about the event? Did you say you wanted? You said there was something we were going to talk about this one. I can't remember. If not, no, then we'll move on. So
I had the dark match. That was
the dark match. Yeah, that was it.
Cody and Triple H. What was it? Were the fans chanting "You deserve it" at Cody?
Yeah, when Cody was getting stretched out at the end, basically the fans were chanting like, "Thank you, Kevin," and "You deserve it," and that's Cody, as Cody was basically being stretched out at the end.
Good.
But yeah, so. And obviously, Kevin Owens walked out of that event with the Winged Eagle Championship, which there's something else now which we're going to go into. So, the only other bit of news sort of thing that we need to cover for this week's show is we've had the Netflix kickoff event, the WWE Raw Netflix kickoff event. Now, I just wanted to obviously cover a little bit of that on this show before we do go off air. So that was on this past Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I think it was.
Something like that.
Now, Michael Cole was hosting the event. He thanks the WWE fans for being there and saying that WWE is obviously making history on January 6th. First out is Triple H. He obviously comes out. He just talks about how it's been a record-setting year. He thanks all the crew, the people behind the scenes, and all the superstars. And just said that Netflix debut will make WWE bigger than ever. And the road to WrestleMania starts officially on January the 6th. Except from the Royal Rumble. So this is what's making me think now that The Rock will officially come out and challenge Cody Rhodes on that January 6th Raw. Because, why else would Triple H say that the road to WrestleMania starts then?
Yeah. They usually say the road to the WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania starts now at the Rumble.
But Triple H made it very clear that the road to WrestleMania starts on January 6th. So somebody is getting challenged on that day for WrestleMania, or something's going to get set up on that day for WrestleMania big time. So, so that is
going to be stacked.
That show is, there was some confusion as well, actually, which we'll get into near the end of the show. I will get into something around it. So, right. So the next thing out then is Adam Pearce comes out. He explains the evolution of Monday Night Raw over the years. And how WWE is going to go once Netflix debut happens. Now, next shocking move, he comes out and actually announces a recently retired wrestler has come back to WWE, and he's the newest member to the Raw brand, and that is Logan Paul. Obviously, Logan Paul declared himself as retired, which we all even said on the last show. Logan Paul isn't retired. He's going to be back in for WrestleMania. And stuff like
what was he retired, like 2 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We even said that on the show that Logan Paul is definitely not retired and stuff like that. He's going to be back and it's going to be in a surprising fashion. And he shows up as obviously an unannounced sort of guest. He was pre-announced, but obviously it was. The surprise bit was obviously that he's joining the Raw roster officially because they've made it very clear now that he is part of that. He's put all the champions and that on notice and told them and said that he reckons he's going to be a future world champion, but he won't be. I'll tell you that now. Next thing we go into then is Rhea Ripley comes out. She talks about her past, getting to WWE. She calls Raquel Rodriguez a backstabber. Dominic Mysterio a child, and Liv a coward and a bum, and claims that she will beat her on January the 6th, which obviously that match has now been made official for January 6th, which is Liv versus Rhea for the women's world title. Liv Morgan, Dom, and Raquel comes out, and they basically surround and talk about her accomplishments. Liv being world champion for over 200 days. Adam Pearce says he has a Christmas gift for Liv, which is the match versus Rhea Ripley at the Netflix debut. So that's when that one got sorted out. Sorry, like I said, we'll go pretty quick through this because it's going to be a short show. There was something about there was something about Gunther. Yeah.
No, going back to Rhea just for a minute. The child screaming, "I love you, Rhea. I love you too, small child."
Yeah. That was pretty good from that. Wasn't this one? No, that was on Monday Night Raw where she called Dominic a that he.
Oh yeah.
He's like a chicken. Chicken dentist. Which he kind of is, but And then next time
we all?
Basically. Yeah, we are. So next time we then have Solo Sikoa with his bloodline. He comes out and says that he's a real tribal chief because he has a Ula Fala and tells everyone to acknowledge him. Out comes Paul Heyman, which says he has a message that there can only be one tribal chief. He respects what Solo has done, but it's all about who the real undisputed tribal chief is. And the other man is someone who has been trying to be a tribal chief and has become a wannabe. For that one there. So that was a pretty good segment. If anyone does want to check out the segments, by the way, Leo, who is one of our writers, he has done an entire thing on our site, wrestlingforyou.co.uk, where you can actually watch the videos as well and all the clips and that from this event. So they're all on there fully. I will just say that. And next time we then have Kevin Owens is in the crowd. He comes up onto the stage and it says, he questions why the rightful WWE champion wasn't invited to the event and has to seek in and labels himself the real WWE champion before his microphone gets cut off. Now, he's coming out with the Winged Eagle. So how I can see this is they're going to probably do that AEW storyline where you have the 2 world championship belts. So obviously, where he's obviously calling himself the real world champion as well. That's sort of that nod back to, it was Adam, who was it? It was CM Punk versus MJF, wasn't it? They done it in AEW. Was it them two?
No, it was
or was it Ambrose or Moxley or whatever his name is?
No, actually, you know what? I don't think CM Punk ever feuded with the world champion.
No.
I think maybe the plan was to do that, but he got fired.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. So they've done that whole real world champion thing in there, but that was I think we're both ill as well by the sounds of it today. This is a great way for Christmas, isn't it?
It's been a rough week, but
and then so obviously Kevin Owens had the Winged Eagle Championship, which he took at the end of the event on Saturday night. So that's going to be quite interesting to obviously see what happens now after Christmas and stuff like that in relation to this, and maybe even if Kevin Owens shows up in a backstage segment on SmackDown, which again could have been pre-filmed, which nobody knows about, because there will be more segments on there tonight which haven't been leaked yet. Next time we then have Gunther. He turns around and talks about how he's better than anyone else. He's focused on the future and will be heavyweight champion for a long time. He will, spoiler here, he will not be. and he says it's his duty and his honor to chop this smile off Logan Paul's face. Now, something quite interesting here, which I will bring up, is there's obviously been that rumor for quite a while of CM Punk versus Gunther, which was obviously meant to happen. Now, obviously, they use the live events as a platform to kick off things that they are planning for the main roster and for the TV. Now, on December the 27th, December the 29th, which is part of the WWE Holiday Tour, we are getting Gunther versus CM Punk for the Heavyweight Championship inside a steel cage. Now, quite interestingly, that is the day before Monday Night Raw's last ever show on USA Network. And that December 30th show is also being described as quite a big event with a few shocks on it. So what if, to obviously kick off this Punk and Seth match, which is obviously meant to now be on January the 6th, what if Punk beats Gunther on December 30th and wins the title then? So that way then, so they basically then do Punk versus Gunther then, because he said for a while that he wants that title. He then comes out, challenges Gunther, wins the title on December 30th, then goes into January 6th then as World Heavyweight Champion. That way.
Impromptu World Heavyweight title match? I don't know.
Yeah, like maybe that Gunther comes out and says, "Oh yeah, he's doing an open challenge for like the last show of the year because he's so confident or whatever," and then CM Punk comes out and basically challenges him, because this is the thing, is they don't do things on the live events just out of to do them. Curiosity, just to do them. They always do things on there, especially when it comes to like cage matches and stuff like that, and like championship matches to prepare for TV. This is what I'm thinking, because obviously if you read back into the promos as well between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, they only want to challenge. They only want to face each other if the title's involved, because otherwise they've got nothing interested in what each other want. Yeah. So I obviously understand that, yes, they've set up this match now for January 6th because of what Punk and that was saying on last week's Raw. But if they add the title to that mix going into WrestleMania, then you can then finally then say have Seth beat Punk at WrestleMania. Punk then gets his world heavyweight. Because this is the thing as well, is WrestleVotes, they've also leaked as well that Punk is definitely having that main event slot of night one of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So that says to me that if Punk's got that main event slot of night one, that says to me that he is going in as champion. There's no other explanation to why he would have that main event slot of night one. He's either going in as challenger for a title or he's going in as champion. There's no other explanation for it, is there, really? If you think about it, to be fair, because you don't do your WrestleMania main event non-title. It's always a tradition for it. So all these people saying, "Oh yeah, but they can do it around the title and stuff." No, it's for the title. Whatever match Punk's in at WrestleMania, which is still going to be Seth versus Punk, from my understanding. Even though they're doing it on January 6th, it's going to be a best of 3 series or whatever. It's going to have the title involved. They're obviously talking about that match. CM Punk comes out. He talks about the past year, his injuries, and seeing January as a fresh start for him. The history of wrestling, getting to cable and then going to Netflix will be huge. Talks about Seth Rollins and their match coming up. Seth then comes out and says he has nothing left to say, and then welcomes everyone back to the house that he built. And Rollins and Punk face off to end the event. Now, the bit of confusion which everyone had there was Michael Cole someone said that it was the main event. Well, he mentioned it was the main event. Now, everyone thought that was for January the 6th, that was the main event. It's not. What Michael Cole meant was the main event for that show, which was Seth versus Punk. At this moment in time, the main event for Raw on Netflix is meant to be Roman versus Solo still. That's what it's meant to be at the moment for that one. So it's not Punk versus Seth as what was said. At the minute, the planned main event for January 6th is meant to be Roman versus Solo. Now, again, we're still weeks out from that. that can easily change because shows like that, even a normal Raw or SmackDown or even these big events there, they have some plans plotted out beforehand, but the actual show layouts are never done until 24 hours beforehand. So that could easily change. So anyone who turns around and says, oh, but you said this on December 20th or whatever, there's still loads of time leading up to January the 6th. And I'll tell you now, the scheduling for that show will not be completed until January 5th, basically, for when they decide when the main events are going to be. And that's just Triple H's way of doing things. He's not going to plan the entire show out now. He's going to still be adding things, changing things. Some of these planned things that's going on, they might even get scrapped before then because this is Triple H. So, but that's that. It looks like that January 6th show is going to be pretty good. Now, like I said, short show this week. We've done about 25 minutes. Is there anything you want to obviously say for our last official live show of the year before we go into before obviously our last thing or whatever? So anything you want to say for the Christmas ones and stuff like that before we break for that?
It's been a fun year discussing all wrestling with you. We're gonna have a very interesting 2025 on our hands, I feel like.
Oh yeah, we are, yeah.
I don't think we plan on going anywhere, so we will see you in 2025.
Yep.
Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. Happy holidays to the rest. And
Yeah, and don't forget, so as Bobby's got the buttons in, so hit that like button and subscribe. That is to basically, myself at For You Wrestling and Bobby's breakdowns on YouTube and Instagram, and Bobby's breakdown on Twitter. Also to anyone else in the team as well. I will just say Merry Christmas to everybody. That's to the entire team. And to obviously all the fans and everyone like that for this year. We will, however, be back before the end of the year, but that will be for our special award show, which we're doing, which is the Xero Awards, like normal.
This is our last legit uncut.
This is our last legit uncut. The next show will be branded down as our Xero Awards show.
Yep.
Which we will be bringing you. I will say that one now. That one will be released on the Friday between Christmas and New Year. So what's that date? So that will be the
December 27th.
December 27th. That show will be dropping. So keep an eye out for that one. And then, no, that's fine. So that's that one there. So we will see you guys on December 27th for our next show. This is Xero signing out for Christmas. Again, have a good one, and we'll see you.
I'm Bobby. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. See you guys later.